You could type in something that you're struggling with, and you could break it down by ethnicity. Say that you are more comfortable talking with someone who looks like you, male, female, all those different things, and then each different issue that you may be facing that you want to seek out support with.
Better late than never, better late than never, forever hard to measure. I might see my future fall away, but you control time, so my future do what you say.
But you dropped some gems, bro, and I want to kind of visit here. It's two things that I hope to explore more.
Okay.
Very simple idea of like you talked about choosing a therapist, man. So me and my wife, we've done marriage counseling, and I've done individual counseling for me. And so like I never thought about like the dynamic or the impact of the person that I'm doing this joint with plays a role. You know what I'm saying? Can you speak a little bit? So I want you to put like your coaching hat, your consultant hat on. Like what kind of just strategies or guidance would you give folks when it comes to choosing a counselor or therapist for their support?
Yes. I would say starting off, because honestly, I didn't know this when I started off and I was in the field. I would think about some of the areas that you struggle with. Sometimes that's, easy to identify. Sometimes you don't know. But if you are aware that you struggle with anxiety, which is what I had struggled with at that point, and or depression or anything, you could have family issues or, like you said, marital issues. There are different concentrations within counseling where people specialize in. There's a website called Psychology Today, and that's something like psychologytoday.com, and that's where most credentialed therapists will go. They'll post their information and they'll say whether they're available, they're taking clients or not. And that's, I want to say it's nationwide. It could go into different countries as well, but you could type in yours.
It was good, family. God has called me to help people to align and maximize their calling with their purpose. And one of the ways that I do that is through writing. My first book is called Purpose Driven Work, which focuses on helping people to get unstuck in their dreams, callings, and their careers. My second book is Purpose Driven Coaching, which really focuses on helping educators, leaders, and workforce development professionals to use coaching to make an impact on individuals' lives. And then lastly, my most recent book is called On Purpose Leadership, which I wrote with my homeboy Vat Lee, which focuses on cultivating leadership for teams and organizations. You guys can purchase any one of my books on Amazon. Y'all be blessed out here, man.
Zip code, you could type in something that you're struggling with, and you could break it down by ethnicity. Say that you are more comfortable talking with someone who looks like you, male, female, all those different things, and then each different issue that you may be facing that you want to seek out support with. You can break those down and you can find who specializes in what. They even go as far as, I think this is a roadblock that a lot of people struggle with, is insurance. They'll go as far as identifying who they're credentialed with to make sure that that's not a roadblock for you. So before you even reach out to them, you can see who they're credentialed with. Say, if you have Anthem or Aetna, something like that, and they're credentialed, that might be someone for you. They have a blurb about themselves, not going into too much detail, because when you come to a therapist, you want someone who's unbiased, so they're not your friend. But at the same time, they're someone that you can connect with socially. You want to feel comfortable sitting down in a room with them or even on Zoom and have that connection and not feel as though they're not understanding you. So like I always tell people, like making sure that there's no cultural issues. I'm a social worker, and we're taught to understand different cultural backgrounds, but also as a therapist, you have to understand what you're comfortable with. I know a lot of times for me, I struggle with understanding different dialects. And so therefore, I'm not going to be comfortable sitting there for an hour with someone that I'm not understanding everything they're saying. So you have to know, and there's different therapists that speak different languages. I understand it. If you feel comfortable expressing yourself in your native language, find someone who speaks that same language. So there's a vast variety of therapists out there. It's not enough of us Black male therapists. I always push that. Because I do get a lot of information from mothers looking for therapists and things for their sons. And so I always push for more Black male therapists. But at the same time, there is a therapist out there for you. It just takes a matter of you getting help. And I'm an advocate. So therefore, reach out to me or someone that have gone on that road to get assistance with finding. But Psychology Today is a great start.
That's good. Yo, so it's funny that you talk about like just the selection of choosing the right counselor therapist. So a little bit about me, like I
Mhm.
play sports, but
Right.
part of what I like, I think my identity been shaped by sports is kind of like this kind of hierarchical
Hmm.
worldview, I guess is the best way, where it's like I have been taught and trained to have a reverence and submit to authority, right? And that's kind of been some of the conflicts I've had, is like I'm actually bucking authority, right? So I say that to say what I've realized that I kind of naturally gravitate for towards when I choose a therapist is like I want somebody that's older. Like I want some grays on your face. I want some hair to be missing because I want you to look like physically look like you've been through some stuff, like you have some wisdom. That seems weird, but it's like,
No.
like for me culturally, like I want like somebody that I just naturally have a reverence for. The other thing too is um, like I've had two older white males before. I've had one that's kind of middle age. I've never had an older, actually, no, I take that back. I have had an older black male and an older female. And all those dynamics, all of them are obviously were older except the middle-aged white guy. But I felt most comfortable with the older, like older black female. And I wonder how much of
Yeah.
that is kind of shaped by my desire for a maternal presence, you know what I'm saying? But also kind of that dynamic with just I want somebody that I respect, like I revere, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Uh have you seen that kind of like, I don't know, for you personally, your preferences in selecting a counselor?
So it's so funny because just yesterday, one of my buddies he followed up with me because we talked about therapy, and he said, "I'm having a hard time still trying to find a therapist because I want someone that looks like they've been through something." And
That's right.
so
That's right.
I wanted to like I didn't pick apart because it was a text message and I was at work, but I wanted to ask her like, what does being through something look like? Because there are some teenagers out there that've been through a lot more than you and I have in our mid 30s.
Yep.
So therefore, you can't always judge a book by its cover. And I think a lot of times we have, in order to really do therapy right, we have to come outside of our expectations.
Yeah.
I'm not saying because there's still things that you have to do that makes you comfortable. But sometimes we as just people, we have an idea of what we expect, but that's a part of control. And a lot of times with therapy, you have to give up that control and be more vulnerable. And of course, I'm still working on vulnerability. Vulnerability is a difficult thing, especially with males, and being open. And I learned something recently where, the word vulnerable is one thing, but I think I just use the word openness is another, because in therapy, you have to be open. And that's a level of vulnerability that, we have to match. So with you saying that you felt more comfortable with older female therapist, a lot of times we as people in general, not just male, we do feel more comfortable opening up to a female because they have that maternal aspect about them. And that's who we're used to. Your mom is the one that really pulls on your emotions more than your father. Your father's like, get it together, son, sit up
Yeah.
straight. They're and that's just what we're taught. But at the same time, it's nothing wrong with you being an open and not say emotional, but someone who shows emotional as a male. But yeah, so like even with me and I talked about my therapist. I think she's amazing, but a lot of people, I promote her all the time. I don't tell people, of course, you don't so much share who your therapist is. Because a lot of times when you got your personal information in one person, you ain't throwing around the name because
Uh,
it's almost like they walk around with your Bible, your inner
that's
Bible
right.
within
That's
them.
right.
But at the same time, I have a therapist. Her name is Sarah, and she's actually a middle-aged, I'll say in her 30s, white female. And so when I first met her, I was just like, oh, this is gonna be easy.
Oh, hey, it's you again. The one that is watching this content but ain't subscribed to the channel. Listen, I'm a YouTube embryo, but I have dreams of one day being a full-grown YouTube man. In order to get there, I need your help. Subscribe to the channel. I am trying to help people in their dreams, their callings, and careers, and to help scale that growth. All you got to do is help a brother by hitting that subscribe button. Bless your brother so I can bless others. It's that simple. Be blessed.
You're right. Is that the other? But when I tell you, the more and more that I go into my sessions with her, and I'm sitting there on her couch, and I've never done a virtual session. I've always gone in person. I do therapy Thursdays. Every Thursday at 9 a.m. I'm in on the couch, and she beats me there. I'm there now. There's been sessions early on where I've had to use some tissues because I'm not an emotional person, but it's just unraveling just your experiences, and it could be something very little. It can bring out emotion, and that's okay. But at the same time, she also is a person that challenges me. The work of a therapist is not to figure out your problems, but to give you the right questions, the right path for you to work out your problems, and through questions that they may ask you, through different strategies that they may put, and then sometimes doing the homework. There's worksheets that they give you. They say, hey, read over this and come back next week and let's talk about it. And I'm telling you, just showing up could be the hardest step, but once you get in there and you start to unpeel those layers, it I won't say it gets easier, but you become more comfortable with showing up. And that's just like with anything, going to the gym or anything like that. The hardest part is sometimes showing up.
Yeah.
But once you get there, of course, with therapy, there may be a copay associated with it, $30 or whatever your insurance pays. So you do have to pay something, but at the same time, once you start to unravel and you get into that groove, just like when you start go to the gym, you start to see those muscles form.
Yeah.
It's easier to pay that membership.
Yep.
And I would say that it's the hardest part is to show up, but once you get in there, it gets easier. I'm not a morning person at all, but it's easy for me to be at that therapy session 9 o'clock in the morning.
Amen.
Yeah.
Better late than never, better late than never, forever hard to measure. I might see my future fall away, but you control time, so my future do what you say.